Quiero acostarme, no puedo dormir, no puedo acabar, no me puedo rendir.
We are back with another episode of Into the Jungle podcast, and today is a very special episode. Like any other, we have a very special guest coming in today, and this special guest here, a brother of mine, this guy, I don't think I could describe him in one word, but what he is he's an amazing artist. He is an entrepreneur. He is a hard worker. He is actually a podcast host himself. He is a composer, a producer, and an engineer as well. So, with this being said, I want to bring and welcome onto the stage the one and the only Jairo with Rakata Music.
I'm glad we were able to finally make this happen after some time.
I said we say quick cheers to that.
Sí, salud.
Salud, mi hermano.
Para la raza.
Para la raza y para todo el mundo entero. So how are you feeling today?
Man, I am good. God is good, bro. God is good. Feel like I'm at a point in my life where like the energy's there, you know. Follow me and Corey always talk about as of lately, man, just go with the momentum of the energy. Go with it. Don't be oblivious to when good things are happening to you. Put gasoline on that fire, man. You know, and it's tough, you know. It's tough. It sounds easy, but it's tough, right? Because you want to put more gasoline onto the fire when the energy of momentum is going. But finances, your own personal struggles, you know, paying rent, you know, your own mental health, like doing the thing is not easy, you know. Going to the studio, waking up early, the logistics to meet for us that we had to work out for us to be at your podcast, Into the Jungle podcast, like it is not easy. But I'm in a good place, man. God is good. I'm coming off of a wonderful trip I just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I went and visited my mother. She still lives out there.
Is that?
No. That's just where we did some growing up. Okay. I grew up in Minnesota, from Mexico City, but then we went to Minnesota when I was around 10. And anyway, I was just over there for like a week, and my God, I really hope anybody's mother, to everybody in here, man, and anybody watching, my mom and I have had our ups and downs. I really hope, though, that people someday with their parents reach the level of mature, insightful, unfiltered conversations that I've had with my mother, man. This last weekend, unbelievable. Just what a breakthrough. What type of breakthrough conversations that she and I have now. And she and I have had our ups and downs. By no means have we been like, oh, peachy peachy. Nah, man, we've had some real down moments throughout the years. But as of the last 2-3 years, we've been on we're both just way much more mature, man. And especially me, you know. And she has had to do a lot of maturing herself. Because think about, I'm not a parent, but think about being a parent and like your kids grow up. You know them to be one way, and then they grow up and become their own person. And now they have to mature. They can't be the same parent that they were then. They have to catch up to you, and you have to come down with them. And man, we're at that place right now. And man, I went to Paisley Park. Anybody who knows about Paisley Park, it's Prince's recording facility and home, 65,000 feet square, over in Chanhassen, Minnesota. And since Prince passed away in 2016, rest in peace. And he always, while he was alive, wanted his recording facility, which is huge, compounds on compounds, man, like state of the art. He always wanted it to be a museum, and they're fulfilling his dream ever since October of 2016. And I finally went on that tour, took a tour through his home recording facility. You have to pay like a ticket, you know, whatever, and you're with the group. And I'm coming off of that vibe, man. I'm coming off of greatness. I'm coming off of that vibe of if I was motivated before, I'm motivated more than ever now, man. More than ever. What an unbelievable experience I had at Paisley Park. So I'm on good vibes. God is good, man.
Hey, amen to that. Cheers to that.
You know, cheers to that. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for asking me how I'm doing. I feel like sometimes in podcasts, like it's just like, yeah, man. So let's get to it. Boom, 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 boom.
No.
And you're just asking me how I'm doing, and I'm being honest, right? Like I'm not sitting here like, man, just did shows. Yeah. I'm being real with you. I'm actually telling you how I'm doing in real time.
Yeah, man. Right here at Into the Jungle podcast, there's a reason why we bring. Or there's a reason why, better said, bro. And, you know, it's just me by far. Oh, and cheers, by the way.
Hey, salud.
I always do this shit in every fucking episode, bro. I always cheers and then we talk and then we set it down, or someone takes a sip and someone doesn't, you know. But salud, my brother.
I am gonna tell your audience though. I told you to make the drink. We're drinking Jack and Coke right now, and I told you 25%, 75% Coca-Cola. This motherfucker did 75% Jack, 25% Coca-Cola. I'm like, yo, this guy's with the FBI, man. You trying to get me to confess?
Hey, I'll let you guys me trying to justify that. You know,
I remade my drink, by the way.
You fucking remade this drink, but. Me justifying that there was a lot of ice in your cup, brother. So I was thinking about it's gonna water down your drink, your beverage, you know. So
that's just funny. It was really funny.
I want to go back to that Prince experience to the museum. I want to know why it was so impactful for you.
Yeah.
What was it? Tell us your experience there, real quick.
It's a variety of emotions and a variety of things all happening at the same time of why that was such an unbelievable experience. And I mean it when I say that. And I actually don't even know how to describe I can't even describe to you what I actually felt or I am feeling still in this moment from that experience. All I can do is just say the words that I think best describe it. But I actually can't pinpoint. I don't have the words. And I know, so that sounds really deep, but it's true to me. And I'm not fronting, you know? What about it? It's a mix of things, man. You know, when you're taking the tour, first of all, man, I grew up in Minnesota, right? Okay. I did some growing up there, man, for a lot of years, 16 years, I believe. And between 2012 and 2014, I attended a school program, music business and audio engineering program at the very famous, for people who know, Flight Time Studios, which was one of the people that opened it was St. Paul Peterson, who was in two of the groups that Prince started back in the 80s, The Time and The Family. And Paul Peterson began these school programs way before 2012, right? But then I came in 2012, 2014. And he would come in and tell all these crazy Prince stories. And Flight Time Studios, for people who know Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who ran the 90s R&B game back in those days, that sound is from Minneapolis. And St. Paul Peterson and those audio engineers who worked with Prince were mentoring me, you know, about the business and about audio engineering and sound and life. And St. Paul Peterson was connected to, you know, is connected and was connected at the time, you know, in the 80s with Prince. And he would come in there and always tell us this crazy story. So I'm telling you that now I went to Paisley Park in 2024. Right. And to be walking in that building, not only knowing that my story is connected to Prince's story, if you really think about it, his story is connected to mine, it's unbelievable. And then to be walking in those rooms, man, you can feel his energy. You can feel, like, if you're in music, you don't have to be a fan of Prince, but if you're in music, you have to go. How can this place be open and you're not gonna go there? It's an unbelievable experience, out-of-body experience, man, being in there, man. And I remember walking in one of the studios, and my mama was with me, and she was trying to get my attention because they're super strict. You can't take pictures. They put your phone in a sealed thing where they can only open, and super strict. And this one time, we got to Studio B in Paisley Park, and they had their own camera, and you could take a picture. My mom was like, hey, you're gonna go? And I'm like, literally, you gotta chill. You gotta, like, give me a moment. Me pegó. Wow. I was like, yo, this is really happening. And I don't know if I'm sounding over dramatic or not right now, but I am not. I'm best trying to describe to you how it shifted my life. I can only think of 2 other times, Tony, where I felt incredibly motivated and out-of-body experience, and it pivoted my life forever. 2002, the Eminem show, I'll never forget that. That is the reason why I'm even making music. Number 2, in 2012, when I went and when I went to school at Flight Time Studios, it changed my life. I talk about it in every podcast I go. I talk about it in every interview. Anybody I interact with, they're part of my story. You know, the school was they called it Minneapolis Media Institute. It's no longer there, actually. It's now Low House Income. They tear down the studios and everything, so it's not even there anymore. I can't even go back to it, but that was Flight Time Studios, man. And that changed my life. And you want to know what the third one is? I was just there last weekend. Paisley Park, man. It's happened 3 times in my life, bro. 3 times. Qué experiencia tan brutal. And then to know St. Paul Peterson is connected to that story, who was mentoring me and was being mentored by Prince. I went to Flight Time Studios. I grew up there. Man, I'm in music. What an unbelievable experience.
I want to ask you, bro, what really got you wanting to be an artist in the first place? Like, what made you have that passion? Like, you know what? For me, obviously, it's, you know, it started off with videography, photography, being a creative in that sense, you know, something with the camera. So being a creative in that sense, right? For you, it's making music.
Yeah.
Why music? Let me hear that.
It started in 2002 with the Eminem show.
Okay.
I mean, just to keep it kind of like straight to it, that's what it was. I was a fan of music before, right? Michael Jackson, you know, like Queen. I'd hear these songs, Juan Gabriel, Juan Luis Guerra, Los Bukis, Marco Antonio Solis. Like, my mom loves music, but none of that ever really shifted my energy into wanting to be an artist. And in 2002, when I first heard the Eminem show,
Right.
it changed my life, man. And it's again, I can't even really describe what it is, Tony. It's like, I'll never forget that moment, being on the floor, being 11, 10 years of age, scattering through CDs. We're at one of my mom's friend's house, and I've told this story before, but I put the CD in, not knowing what it is. We had just moved to the States like a year prior. I didn't even speak English. Obviously, Eminem does music in English, right? That's the first language. I don't even know what he's saying. That's how impactful music is, bro. That's how impactful music is to us. Not us artists, to us as people. You know, Quincy Jones once said, the most 2 important things in your life is water and music. If you don't got those, you're dead. Shout out to Quincy, man. Greatest producer of all time. And that moment shifted my life. And then what keeps me in love with making music and wanting to be an artist, to answer your question too, the art itself, connecting with people like yourself, like Corey, people at the shows, networking events. Yes, being in the studio, creating something out of nothing. My favorite part is being on stage, performing my music. That's my favorite part. And it's also the most challenging part. I don't care what artist you interview, man. The performance is the most difficult. It may not be their most favorite. In my case, it happens to be my most favorite part out of the whole music process. But it's also the most difficult. You can go and look back at Michael Jackson interviews, Prince interviews, bro. It's brutal. And because there's so much going on at the same time, and preparation, and then never mind going on tour or doing multiple shows, you know? That chase keeps me in love, man. It's like almost something that you'll never reach, that you love. So then you're always striving to be better. It's never good enough. But in a good way, I'm happy with what I'm hearing. I'm happy with that performance. Whatever I'm doing, I'm happy with it, but I'm not satisfied. And I think that, and I don't know where that comes from. I mean, I guess I could, if we really wanted to dial back to my childhood, I could probably figure out where that ambition comes from. But that's what keeps me in love, man. I'll never get it right. And like, for instance, artists like Prince, when I was there at Paisley Park, not to go back to that, but just to make my point, when I was there and I saw how big his studios was, he had a sound stage that's bigger than any mansion you've ever seen in Beverly Hills. It was just the sound stage. This guy was rehearsing with his band in his own studio, like sound stage, state-of-the-art sound stage, before he went on tour. The people that paid money to go see the first show was already done 1,000 times by the time the first crowd saw it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it spoke to me how perfect and how dedicated he was to the art form. and that chase that I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm striving for. Like, I get him, even though I never spoke to him. I get what if I was him and I had the means to do it, I would do the exact same shit. I would do the exact same shit, and we'd rehearse that show 1 billion times before the first show of the tour, because it's that chase, it's that love. If you're not in love with doing what you're doing, you'll never be happy, and yet, let alone make money. If people want to be in music because they think they can make money, you're out of your fucking mind, right, Corey? You're out of your fucking mind. You better love this shit. So to answer your question, it's the love, it's the chase. Eminem 2002, he started that. And man, I hope I get to shake his hand someday, man. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but think about how,
it's a possibility, for sure.
Think about how full circle that would be. For me to shake Eminem's hand, he's responsible for all my doubts. He's responsible for all of my successes. He's responsible for why I deal with mental health the way I have to deal with it. He's the reason why I keep chasing things. You know? Not even really him, like, yeah, him, but his energy his energy spoke to me, man. And that love is what keeps me chasing.
That's beautiful, brother. I want to go back real quick.
Yeah, man.
So we had mentioned the crowd. It's your favorite part, right?
See?
Let me ask you, brother, what is it? Is it the crowd that you like, the crowd cheering for you? Is it the connection? Is it that what is it exactly?
All of it.
All of it.
All of it, and everything you said and more. If we're talking about the art alone, first of all, anybody who knows me knows that when I step into anything, into Raka the podcast, which is my own podcast that I have, into studio session with other people, if it's into a show, anything, preparation to me is the key to success. It is the key. There's a quote by one of my favorite motivational speakers, Leslie Brown. Shout out to him. I actually met him a few years ago, and I'll get to your question. It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. And when I heard that, like maybe 15 years ago, it stuck with me. And I could probably get it tatted on my arm. That's how much I'm about that. So the preparation for a show, like I told you, the show aspect of being in music and being an artist is the most difficult, in my opinion, to get it right. Because there's so many moving parts to it. There's so many logistics to it. And part of it, of being successful on the show, is your preparation. I love the preparation. The rehearsals. If you got dancers, making sure they're right, and you're part of that process. So what is it that I love about performing? It's not even the actual performance, hermano. It's what's even happening before. The real hard shit. I'm in love with that. Making sure the dancers are straight, what they're wearing, hitting the right moves, make sure we're at rehearsals, how's the sound going on, what's going on with the front house engineer, if I'm wearing in-ear monitors, what's going on with that, what's the mix, what's the sound stage design with the lights. I'm involved in the whole shit. I'm not at that level yet, but when I get to be, I'm involved in all of it, and that's before you get to see the fucking show. I mean, all that is fantastic. I love that. And then if you're talking about the actual show, man, just everything about it is a challenge, and but it's so giving to see other people dance to something you created. And if they know the words, them sing a couple words, or if they know the whole song, like, I created that by myself or with people I like working with, and now they're dancing to it. We created that out of nothing. That thing alone is unbelievable. It's from above, man. That energy they dance it to is from God, bro. It's from the universe, and I'm just the vessel. And to be that vessel for other people, dance and have fun. You know, life is tough, man. It's such a blessing. So then you add that aspect of it. You know, if you want to get technical, man, while you're performing, at the same time, all these things are happening, which is your breaths, your accent, your movements on stage, your interaction with the people, your breathing, your pitch. There's so much happening while you're performing. If you actually break it down, technically speaking, I'm in love with that shit. Because it's like, I can never get it right. And it just keeps me chasing. But it gives me so much. When you see people connecting to the music or coming up to you afterwards, whether that's an artist, a PR, people in general after the show, and people always do this. You've never really been to any of my shows, I think, maybe one or so, but every single time, and I'm so blessed. I'm not even where I want to be. People come up to me all the time. Man, you're the best performer, man. Man, I really loved your energy, or I really liked the song. What's your Instagram?
Right.
The connection with the people is the most fulfilling part. But I also just don't do it for that. I do it for all the other reasons I told you. And we're talking about just performing. That's just performing. I just broke down performing. I'm not even talking about the studio. I'm not talking about the LLC. I'm not talking about publishing. I'm not talking about nothing else. But that is the reason why performing is my most favorite part, man. All those reasons, the connection of the people, the challenge, the preparation. It's actually really funny how life works, because I feel like a lot of the times, a lot of the blessings that I've had in my life have been when I was being the most challenged. Whether that was on a personal or in business. Whenever I'm going through it on a negative vibe, the blessing on the other side, if you just can hang on, is just as big. It's just as impactful. It's really funny how life works. My mother and I always have conversations. Life is strange. La vida es bien rara. Bonita pero rara. And so yeah, that's the reason why performing is my favorite, man. About to do a show real quick in Anaheim in a couple days. I know you're going to be there, man. Shout out to Vanessa, RYM Network 2 for inviting me. And coming off of Prince, coming off of Paisley Park, they better be ready. Whoever's performing on that stage, and I mean this with all due respect, but if you coming on the stage before me or after me, you better bring your A game. You better bring your A game. I'm not playing, and I don't care if there's 2 people. I don't care if there's 100,000 people. It doesn't matter. I'm going to bring my A game. I'm going to own that stage. When I get on stage, you're going to go, damn, is that where he lives? He's so comfortable up there. I feel like I'm at his house.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to make them feel. And I mean that with all due respect to anybody who's performing that day or at any performance. Daddy Yankee could be performing before or after me. I don't give a fuck. And with all due respect, I'll be the best performer. And I'm bringing that energy. I'm going to be performing as if Prince is looking at me like this. Sometimes I psych myself out, and I'll let you continue with, I'm just giving you the full with the performance.
My brother, this is all about you.
Sometimes I psych myself out. I've never told anybody this, and I pretend like Michael or Prince or someone is watching me. Right there. Like if they're watching me. They're clearly not there. I mean, they're there watching me. I believe they are. But I act like as if they're in person. And when you're performing, I mean, think about that. If you are performing in front of your idols, I guarantee you'd bring your fucking A game. I guarantee you would hit every pitch, every tone of your voice, every breath, how you interact with the people. You would be on a different level. And I psych myself out sometimes thinking, Prince is watching me, bro. He's right there watching. So you better bring it. And that just elevates my game. As you can see, my competitiveness comes out too when I talk about performing. And again, we could probably dial back to my childhood where that comes from, but I don't know where it comes from, but I love it, man.
Why not dive into it? Let's dive into it. Like, what did that, obviously, because, you know, we all deal through, whether it's trauma or just experiences, whatever the case may be, to make us the man or the woman that we are. Yeah. So why not go back to it? Let's go back to it.
As far as like being competitive, and I think that's the reason why the wolf is the logo of Ragata. And it really, if I could really have it my way, it just didn't work out for the logo. It would be the wolf growling in front of your face. I mean, think about a wolf with the saliva coming out right here, looking at you, and the teeth are coming.
Aggressive.
That's Ragata, bro. That's Jairo to a fucking T. It's actually gotten me in trouble in the past with other business relationships where it's too much for people. So throughout the years, I've had to learn how to tone that shit down. One of my other favorite, he's not a motivational speaker, but he's a clinical psychologist. You might have heard of him, Dr. Jordan Peterson, one of my most favorite people of all time, and I don't even know him, just seeing his content. He's a clinical psychologist from Canada. He said something once in an interview that really struck me, and it made me think of this competitive nature that I'm talking to you about, that you're asking me about. He said, be a monster and then learn how to control it.
Understood.
I've always been that monster and had that alter ego, the wolf, but I never controlled it until maybe 3-4 years ago. I started to really teach myself to control it, which is when I heard that quote, when I heard him say that. And it's true. You don't want to be a weak man. I think us as men, I don't want to be weak. None of us want to. We want to provide. We want to be tough. We want to be the guy. And that's cool and all, but that gets in the way of your relationships, personal relationships, and in business relationships. It has for me. And so I have a good problem. It's a good problem for people who can identify with this and what Dr. Jordan Peterson's talking about. It's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to be the monster and like, man, how do I control this? But the challenge is now control it. So it's a good problem to have. Where does that come from? It probably comes from not having a father. It probably comes from being the oldest of 3. I'm the oldest of 3. I have 2 younger siblings.
Sisters?
Brother? Yeah, a brother and then a sister.
Okay.
Beautiful siblings, man. And we came up together in the good and the bad. You know, sleeping on the floor without a father. My mom had 2-3 jobs. We didn't speak any English when we moved here. Sleeping on the floor, rat infested, in a house that was just as big as this studio. And for people who are watching, the studio is not that big.
Yeah.
The studio's just 1 room.
What would you say this shit is, like, so that people understand?
It's
Get an idea visual.
It's a bedroom size with a little bit of storage.
Little kitchen back there or something.
So I think my best guess is that's where it comes from. Having to be a man a lot earlier than, even though I didn't know it then, a lot earlier than people who have both parents and they just assume they're good parents. You know, and then I also not speaking any English and coming in here and getting made fun of for being Mexican.
Wow.
You know, I'm from Mexico City, and not that the kids meant any harm. You know, later in high school we became friends, but when I was in elementary school, 3rd, 2nd grade, like I was getting made fun of. I didn't speak English. I looked different than they did.
And this is in Minnesota?
This is in Minnesota, right? Okay. And it's just what it is. And then I think that drives a lot of the competitiveness. I remember vividly there was the cross country thing in like 5th, 4th grade where we would all have to run like the whole grade, the whole 4th grade, and there's a bunch of classes, right? And everybody would have to run like 4 laps, like a mile or something, whatever it was. And whoever got first place got a little trophy. I remember losing my first year in like 4th grade to some white kid, and I'm like, that's not gonna happen. And the next year, that whole summer when we were out of school, I ran like a maniac during the summer when we weren't in school because I had that guy. Shout out to Cody. His name was Cody. Okay. I had Cody on my fucking radar, dude. I'm like, I'm coming for that trophy. And I think part of that, and then I won the next year. I got first place for cross country. I tell you that little silly example to give you another like view of where my competitiveness comes from. It comes from not having a father. It comes from growing up with a single mom. It comes from not speaking any English and getting made fun of for being Mexican. They used to call me Beaner. They used to call me Wetback. Comes from having to grow up sooner than growing up a lot quicker than what you need to go through.
Right.
You know? I think that's where it comes from, man. I think that's where the competitiveness comes from.
Yeah.
And I've had to, like I said, now I've had to control it. I've had to learn how to control it. And I'm doing a much better job.
Beautiful. Yeah, I can feel the fire. I'm huge on picking up energy. And now, obviously, for the people that do know, we work together, right?
We do, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I've recorded a couple of music videos for him.
Yeah.
Done a couple of music videos.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
You know.
You've been on my podcast, Rocket the Podcast, season 1.
Bro, I'll be honest, bro. I'm just sharing my experience. That was my first time ever, like, being recorded, bro. And I was so nervous. So you could only imagine how I feel, me stepping out of my comfort zone, but knowing I have gifts and talents as well.
Well, I'm glad I was able to pop your cherry, man.
Yeah. Yeah, pop
the podcast cherry, and now look at him now, Into the Jungle podcast
podcast now. That's crazy. Who would have known? But at the time, you know what? At that time, that's when I had just started the idea. I'm gonna, like, it was just an idea up in the air too. Like, I want to start my own podcast. You know, like, a lot of people tell me, like, bro, you have a great voice, bro, you have great personality. You're like a people's person, you know. And look at me now. I'm actually stepping into the fire, which is out of my comfort zone. For one, and second of all, you know, taking advice from other people and listening to them like, bro, you're good at that. Do it. And I've been someone that's been very insecure within myself, kind of scared of myself, better said. And there's some people that are scared of themselves, bro, because there comes that challenge, that weight, the responsibility of what that man or the woman looks like. If you step into your gifts, your purpose, whatever the case may be, you know? But yeah, I'm stepping into it, and here we are on episode 4 with my boy Jairo here.
I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for sharing. I think you're doing a wonderful job, man. And I think what you're proving to yourself, like you said, you were a bit insecure in that way. I think clearly, and actions speak louder than words.
Correct.
We say it all the time, you and I.
Absolutely.
And clearly, you doing what you're doing. You're on your 4th episode, right? Yeah. With me, right? Clearly, you're believing in yourself.
Absolutely.
And you're doing it through action. So kudos to you, man.
Thank you, my brother. Truly appreciate it, man.
Kudos.
I want to get back into music because my brother here is an artist. And let us know a little bit about your genre. For the people that don't know who you are on my side, you know, there's people that follow me on Instagram. They see me post you all the fucking time, you know. But people that don't know. I
appreciate that.
Absolutely, of course. Anybody that, and remember once again, and I repeat this once again as always, anybody that's on the other side of me and I'm interviewing them on Into the Jungle podcast, for one, there's something that a little bit of myself that I see in you that I can relate to. There's something that we connect in. And at first and foremost, I forgot to do this in the beginning of the intro. I want to give you your acknowledgement, brother, of why you're on here, brother. This man is someone that does not lack professionalism at all. Over communicator, on top of the game, double checks, quadruple checks, whatever the case may be. He's always on top of the motherfucking game. And I want to also let you know the authenticity this man brings to the table. Out of the little bit of artists that I've met, he's one of the guys that comes in as being himself. I'm coming to acknowledge and understand more that comes some competitiveness as well. But I personally haven't seen that until today, being completely honest. And I'm like, that's why we're on here. We're digesting Jairo here. The wolf, hello. I've had some bad experiences with some past wolves, but you know what I've noticed? Anybody that compares themselves to a wolf has that competitiveness, that growl. And it's so crazy how us as humans, and this is bullshit aside, we all compare ourselves to some kind of animal or some kind of spiritual belief or something. And any wolf that I've met brings that with them. Like, they're cool, but they have that ting, that bite ready, you know? That's beautiful. And obviously I'm throwing motherfucking tigre, but you know, is not my story. This is about you, man. But I love to acknowledge that about this man, the professionalism, the authenticity that this man brings to the table. There has not been an artist that so far, by far, that I've come across that has been as humble as this man right here across from me. Humble himself, always comes in being himself. Maybe he does have competition, but nothing where it's like, oh, that guy's ego is way too high. Oh, that dude's arrogant. No, this guy always comes into the room being himself, connects with who he needs to connect with, and he's attracting his people, his crowd. So kudos to you, my brother.
Thank you, man.
And absolutely, I'm glad you're in my life, bro. You're teaching me a few things here and there, and we're growing, and we're both witnessing each other's journey, the come up and whatnot.
Yeah, thank you for that, man.
I mean that shit from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. I know you do.
I know that you're an artist. I don't know if people know this or not, but you're your own engineer, you're your own composer. You're kind of like your own little everything, right?
Yeah.
You just get a little bit of here and there, a little mixing, correct? You get a little mixing yourself, but for the most part, you do it all yourself, right?
Yeah.
So let us know, man. Like, you went to school for that, right? What was the name of the school again?
Flight Time Studios.
Flight Time Studios in
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis, right?
Yeah, the school was called Minneapolis Media Institute, but it was in Flight Time Studios.
Okay.
The studio of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
I personally don't know anything about Flight Time Studios or anything. For anybody that doesn't know, like myself, please explain to us what exactly is it known? Like, is it big time? Okay,
big,
please let us know.
Big. So I went to school for music business and audio engineering in 2012 to 2014, which is when I graduated. So I have an associate's in that degree. I have a degree in so anyways, that's in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Edina, Minnesota, actually, to be correct. And the reason why I decided to go to school was it's that chase. It was because I felt like I had reached the ceiling at that point in my life. And I'm like, if I have an opportunity to be mentored, who I didn't know was going to be I didn't know anything about this school. I didn't know Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, or that Prince had mentored St. Paul Peterson.
Okay.
Nothing like that. I just knew that there was an opportunity. There was a school called Minneapolis Media Institute for audio engineering and music business, and I knew at that moment I needed to take my game to the next level. And if I have an opportunity to be mentored by others who are already doing it, why would I not do that? Why would I not pay the money? I would give up any money, and I did. Got into loans, the whole college thing. Boom, went to Minneapolis Media Institute, which was Flight Time Studios.
Correct.
And began my journey and had to relearn everything. I'm looking at Corey over there because he's a producer, audio engineer himself, and I thought I knew everything about. I had already been recording myself for like 5-6 years. I thought I had it down. I know what I'm doing. I wasn't even on Pro Tools yet. When I got to be mentored by those people, everything I knew out the window. Imagine thinking you know everything about the thing you're in, but you know you've reached the ceiling, you know there's more, but you thought there was just a little more.
Right.
Nah, a whole different world. Everything I knew was out the window from scratch.
What year was this again?
This was 2012. I must have been like 21, 22.
Okay.
And what an unbelievable experience. Again, we go back to the 3 moments that have pivoted my life, that really inspired me, really changed the projection of my life. And that was one of them. Minneapolis Media Institute, which was Flight Time Studios in the 90s, owned by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. To get to your question, the people who don't know who Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, if you do a quick Google search and you look in there, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, they ran the 90s. Janet Jackson was recording in the same rooms that I went to school in. Michael Jackson went there. Timbaland and Missy Elliott, before they were Timbaland and Missy Elliott, and they were writing for Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Guess where they were? Flight Time Studios. Legendary spot. Anything that we heard in the 90s, R&B, that went number 1, guess where it came from? Flight Time Studios, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, where I went to school at, where I learned, where people were mentoring me. You know? So that's what it was. And if you do a quick Google search, you'll be able to see Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Flight Time Studios. I mean, all kinds of artists went through there. As I just mentioned, Janet Jackson did all of her stuff in the 90s. So that's what that was, man. And that's who those people are. And it's crazy that their story is connected to mine.
You keep saying that. How exactly is it connected?
It's connected in the sense of destiny, man. In the sense of the journey. Yes, I didn't work with them. I didn't work with Janet Jackson. Not yet. I haven't worked with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. They're here in Los Angeles, by the way. The reason why they quit, they left Flight Time Studios was obviously maybe some business decisions, and they opened up their own studio here in Los Angeles, where we are now. And then the school became Minneapolis, and then it became a school. But to answer your question, like, what do you mean connected? Yeah, I never worked with them, man. But through destiny, the fact that we're connected in the sense of I was in those same rooms working when they were working, being mentored by the people who were being mentored by Prince. I don't know how that doesn't tell me I'm not connected to that story, and that's the way I perceive it, because it enlightens me. It makes me stronger. Like, that's crazy. I've shaken hands with people who've done more than I could ever probably accomplish in this one lifetime. I've been in those same rooms. I've shaken hands with those people. Those people have taught me. The people that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis were working with, those people were teaching me between 2012 and 2014. So I'm connected to them because it gets passed down. The knowledge gets passed down. The knowledge that I have about audio engineering, the vocal chains you talk about, and the reason why I have Great River, shout out to Dave Hill, shout out to Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, right? We're talking about audio equipment. The reason why I have that equipment is because it reminds me of growing up in Minneapolis, growing up in Minnesota. I'm connected to all that in that way, man. It gets passed down to me, the knowledge and the information. So that's how I feel I'm connected to it, man. Wow. But yeah, if you look up, to answer your initial question, who is Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Flight Time Studios, just look it up on Google, man. It's everything I told you and more. They ran the 90s, the music business. And to have been there, man, what an unbelievable thing. I get goosebumps talking about it, man. I can talk about that shit every day. Shout out to Minneapolis, Minnesota, man. Shout out to St. Paul Peterson. Shout out to Snowman Powers. Man, shout out to all of them. James Davis, Krinsky, Come on, man. Shout out to all them.
Okay.
Shout out to Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. Shout out to all those people. Shout out to Minneapolis, man. I always tell people when I hear 24 Carats by Bruno Mars and everything he's doing now, that funk sound, that's Minneapolis, man. That's the Minneapolis sound. That's Minneapolis, man. And to know that Bruno Mars took it from there, man, is like, Minneapolis is very underrated when it comes like to music. Yeah, we have Prince and whatnot and First Ave, but it's like, I feel like it doesn't get enough credit. So shout out to all those people, man.
And yeah, shout out to them, because thanks to them, you're on this journey. Thanks to them, you have this fire in you that we see, that they can clearly see.
Yeah,
you know?
man.
But right now, what type of music are you? You're like in the reggaeton stage, correct? Or what exactly type of music are you making?
Latin music, man.
Latin music.
Yeah,
period.
I was making English pop music or hip hop music all the way up to 2017. So from 2002, rap, hip hop, pop music in English, and in 2017, which ironically enough is when I moved here to Los Angeles from Minnesota, I decided to stick to my roots. I decided to give that a shot, and it's the most natural thing that I've ever done as far as creative. It's the most natural connection I've had with people. When I started singing my music in Spanish, I started connecting with the audience more. And how ironic is that, right? When you stick to who you are, and you're not ashamed of who you are, where you're from, and you show that to people, whatever that thing may be, wherever you're from, whatever it is, that's when people connect. That's why you always hear these people all these artists that are like big in the industry. Be yourself. Be yourself. I remember I met DJ Khaled in 2017 at a signing, and I asked him, he was sitting right here, I'm like, I want to be as successful as you are.
You said you're speaking to DJ Khaled?
I'm speaking to DJ Khaled like this at a signing in Hollywood. And I asked him, and they're quick because they're like pictures. We're taking pictures with people, and there's a whole line. I'm like, please, I just need 90 seconds of your time. He said, what's up? I want to be as successful as you are. What do I need to do? What are the qualities that I need to have? I asked him. He said, you need to work fucking hard. You need to work so hard. This needs to be your life, and you need to be yourself.
Wow.
So, yes, Latin music. Latin music is what I make. So that could be reggaeton, merengue, salsa, anything. I'm not in a reggaeton stage. I'm a Latin artist, you know. So whether that may be merengue, salsa, reggaeton, trap in Spanish, it's been shown to me to stick to your roots, and that if you meaning AKA be yourself. Don't be ashamed of being yourself. Don't be you, man. And yo soy la Ciudad de Mexico. And shout out to Mexico. I will always be a Latin artist.
Beautiful, bro.
Yeah, man.
And what made you start like you mentioned? Obviously, I know you were younger too. You know, as we're young, we're still figuring ourselves out and whatnot. But what made you want to start with R&B, pop?
Like when I was doing English music?
Yeah.
I think it's just what was hot at the time. I think I was just I'm a big believer you're a product of your environment. And you know, it started with Eminem, so it was straight rap when I first started. I was like writing raps over Dr. Dre beats. For those who remember LimeWire, I was downloading illegally beats of Dr. Dre through LimeWire, and I was rapping over them. I had a horrible fucking English accent because I barely spoke English, but I was passionate, man.
Right.
And so when I first started, it was very hip hop because Eminem influenced me. I didn't know what I know now. He influenced me to start making music in general, but I took it very literal in that moment as an art form, and so I was making hip hop. And as I progressed, you know, my accent got better. I got better at engineering, mixing, and what I wanted to sound like. You know, it moved into pop music, and I'm always and will always be a huge fan of melody. So even when I was doing rap songs, I had a lot of melody in it.
Okay.
And in 2017, it was clear to me to make a pivot to do Latin music.
Okay.
And shout out to my mom. She always, since I was going through those stages in the very first early stages from 2002 to 2017, when I was making English music, she always said, you should sing in Spanish. Canta en español, mijo. Canta en español. Y yo, no, es que tú no sabes. Lo que está bien chingón es esto, el hip hop en inglés. Y mira, mi mamá she was right, estaba correcta.
What made you get into Raga, the podcast, first and foremost? Let me ask you that.
I love talking to people. I think it's clear. I love listening, and I've become a better listener because of the podcast. I don't mean hearing you and I'm thinking about something else.
Right.
I'm daydreaming. No, listening, escuchándote, for real. Thanks to the podcast, I've become a better listener. But that's a side note. Why I started the podcast, I love talking to people, man. I've always told my moms and people that know me that if I wasn't pursuing music, I'd probably be playing professional soccer or pursuing to be a professional soccer player, or I'd be a psychologist, man. I think the human psychology is mad interesting to me, man. The way you are, why you are, your childhood shaped you, why it shaped you, how does it shape you now? My own life, body language, tone of voice. I'm very good with people. I know you can read energy too, and I think that's one of the things that's not in the artistic things, but just people things that you and I connect with. We can read energy very well. As soon as I walk into a room, I know what the vibe for Corey is. As soon as I walk into the room, I know what your vibe is. I know what game you're on. To my point, I love talking to people, man. And you've grown a lot, by the way, man. And you've always been so vocal, and you've always been. I appreciate that about you. You always are very honest. And
We're back with Into the Jungle podcast with beats by Corey.
sounds like Corey.
Sounds like Corey.
Hey, that's me every night, boy. That's me every night.
Yeah, we got
Ask
sounds
about
like
me.
Corey.
You walk by my apartment door, that's all you hear. That's all you hear. You walk by the hallway.
Hey man, be careful, man. Don't go by Jairo's apartment now. Cheers, my brother.
Hey, salud.
An amazing episode here, an amazing time, amazing conversation with my brother Jairo here. Cheers to that. There's a little rumor that you did a track with or not a track, a whole album with your mother, correct?
Yeah.
I want to hear about that.
Yeah.
Everything.
Sure.
How your mother participated in this album, what she did exactly. Like, let's hear it for the people that don't know, especially.
Yeah. It's really something I wouldn't talk about, just in general in public.
Okay.
It's a very personal project in many ways, and but since you're asking about it, I'm open to talk about it. I'm just saying I wouldn't go. I'm not like, yo, I'm working.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's it's something that's very close to me and my mother. But my mom's, her project started, believe it or not, way before I was born.
Wow.
She's always been into Juan Gabriel. For those people that know Juan Gabriel, the greatest, one of the greatest artists to ever have walked on this earth, in my opinion. To me, I call them Las Tres Torres. Michael Jackson, not in this particular order. Michael Jackson, Juan Gabriel, Prince.
For you.
That is
For you personally.
That is, it should be a law that's what you're striving to be. So yes, it is my opinion, but I believe in it so strong. That is it.
Right.
If you're a fucking artist, Michael Jackson, perfectionism or just work ethic and vision and artistry, that is it. Prince, vision, execution, that is it. Juan Gabriel, de Michoacán, México, donde es mi mamá. That is it to me. That is what I am striving to be, and I will never reach those levels. To me, they're gods. They're music gods to me, man. Les digo Las Tres Torres. Michael Jackson, Juan Gabriel, Prince. My mother has always been into Juan Gabriel since the 60s, since Juan Gabriel first came out. No tengo dinero ni nada que dar. Lo único que tengo es amor para amar. My mom, when we were kids in Mexico, when we were living there, my mom is from Michoacán, Mexico. She was born like literally on a ranch. Like she was born on a bed. She wasn't born at a hospital, and the mom had anesthesia in la cama. And I hope my mom's okay sharing this story, but she comes from Michoacán, Mexico. Very humble beginnings. Used to get beat up by her moms. She's the oldest of 8 kids. I have like 4 uncles, 3 aunts, like crazy family. And she always was spoken to by Juan Gabriel, his music. And she, out of nowhere, by the way she tells the story, started writing poems. She got inspired. Kind of maybe I got inspired by Eminem, I think. And started writing poems about life. And she would write these prolific lyrics that when we were kids, she would make us, and she had a melody to them too. So there were more than just poems. It was like a mini song or something. Mm-hmm. And every summer from Mexico City to Michoacan, which is about a 3-hour drive, every summer we would drive there to go visit some of my uncles, some of my primos. We always joke about this now, my siblings and I. She'd be driving, she'd be, all right, she would make us rehearse the songs. Libros bajo el brazo, mi corazón hecho fe. And she'd be like, no, again, until we got it right. She wasn't like hitting us, but she was like, it's a fun memory. Mm. Just all these poems with melodies, she would make us sing them when we were going on our way to Michoacan. We had nothing better else to do in the car. Mm. And again, it was just us 4. It was never, my father was never around. And I say all that to say we always made fun of her for that. Like, oh yeah, you always talking about these songs. Oh, stop. And like, even when we were older, when I was 25, whatever, she would still tell us about her stories. And it was always like that thing she would always say. And when you can see that somebody's inspired or something really touches them, her poems with melodies really, I mean, she's got pages. She could fill up this whole room. What fucking poems with melodies that she has. And even when she was in her 20s in Mexico, way before she had me, once she moved out of Michoacan to Mexico City, mm-hmm. all these crazy stories she has. And one of them that she always tells me, she was trying to pursue as a songwriter. Mm. She met with a couple of executives in Mexico City in a big studio, like Studio B in Paisley Park. Like she tells me, like we were in a studio just like this. Mm-hmm. And I was telling them I wanted to be a songwriter, whatever, and soon after that, she had me, had my brother, my sister. Didn't really pursue it, obviously trying to be a great mother, single mother, I should say. And shortly after, yeah, and she tried to do it again and try to pitch to people, and shortly after that, we moved out of Mexico City into the States. And so she never did anything.
Well, she's Minneapolis.
She's in Minneapolis right now. She's been in Minneapolis for like 15 years. And that's where we moved to. That's where I was. I just moved to Los Angeles about 8 years ago. And it's always like a thing that she's had with her. And 2 years ago, I met this guy right here, Corey. Shout out to Mario Sterling, who's another great artist, songwriter. God bless him because he introduced me to Corey, who's a producer, audio engineer, great assistant. Just a great person and an incredible human being, incredibly talented. That's when I met him, thanks to Mario Sterling. Shout out to him. And around that time, my mom was really, for the first time in her life, this is 2 years ago, hermano. I really want to put music to these poems with melody, and I want to make them into songs. And you know, I'm always hearing her talk about it, so I'm not taking it too serious. And I'm like, that's cool, Mom. That's cool. She tells me about it again when we talk about it. She tells me about it again. I'm about to meet with so-and-so to come do it. They're charging me like, because they don't know her, they're charging me like crazy amount of money. They want to charge me like some crazy amount per song. Like ridiculous, bro. Mm-hmm. Quarter of what it takes us to do. Not even. And she's gonna go through with it. And at that moment, that's when I knew for the first time in her life, she was fucking serious. And me, I've always been into music. She's always supported my music. She's always been my #1 supporter. Till this day. Strategizing, planning, from her perspective, even though she was never in the music business, she's got her own perspective. You know, as a mom, like, who am I around? She knows who I should be around and who should I be around. In the music business. What songs really would hit with people. She's always been super supportive. Hay veces en cuando un chavito, pum, pa'l video, boom. Siempre. She's always been very, very involved in my music journey. I have the best mother in the world, and that sounds super cheesy as fuck, because of course you would say that. I literally do. There's parents who like their sons or daughters want to get in the music business. It's like, yo, you're fucking crazy. First of all, want to get in the music business, and the parents. I look at the parents now in retrospect, and I'm like, yeah, I can see why they're trying to stop you, and they're not supporting your dream. Mm-hmm. You're trying to get inside the music business? You're out of your fucking mind. Be ready to be pulled in all directions. Be ready for mental health to be out the window. Be ready for all your money. All of it. No savings. No checkings. All credit cards. All loans. Be ready to be all in. Be ready to get told no all the time. Be ready. Be ready. Because if you're trying to get inside the music business, you really better love this shit. If you're doing this for the money, you better really love this shit. Because if you're doing it for the money, you won't last not even a fucking minute in this world, man. I say all that to say, and that sounds very dramatic, right? I get it. Because it is, though. Mm-hmm. It is our life. It is my life. So I can speak on it. So I've been in this music game doing the thing with my mom's support, people like support like Corey, old business partners that I've had. Shout out to all of them who've helped me throughout this journey. Snowman Power, St. Paul Peterson, James Davis. Shout out to Jesus, who I was sleeping on his couch in Van Nuys for the first 6 months I moved here in Los Angeles. Sleeping on the couch, broke. No money for gas to even go hang out at the studio with Johnny, 9 Diamonds. Shout out to him. Shout out to Santos, my old business partner. An amazing partner, an amazing friend that I had. Many people have come into my life. What I'm trying to say is I've been doing my thing with the support of all these people. Some of these people are no longer in my life. Most of them aren't, because this is tough. This is tough. And if you're not on this level that I'm talking on, you're probably not here. And rightfully so. You've got to be fucking crazy to try to pursue the level of excellence that I'm aspired to be. And I know I can do it. I'm telling you all this shit to tell you that my mother, for the first time in her life, is telling me, I'm gonna do this. I'm about to pay this guy. Mm-hmm. That's when I know she's real. And I'm doing this thing with the support of people. She's always supporting me. I'm like, stop. Espérate. Let me help you. Clearly, I've been doing this for years. Clearly, I know what I'm talking about. And I just met this one guy who's cool as fuck and is super talented. His name is Corey. He can help us. But has he ever produced Spanish music? I mean, trust me, he can produce anything. Let me help you. Because I knew she was serious. And it's going to cost you, on top of that, a fraction of what somebody else is telling you. And on top of that, I'm your son. On top of that, you've been helping me. Not only in my personal life, in my music life, in every aspect you can think of. I'd be a fool not to fucking help her. I'd be a fool not to offer my help. But see, I knew she was serious because she was ready to put money down. So we talked about it. We said yes. I took on the challenge because it's been a challenge. It's been one of the hardest projects I've ever had to work on. And I mean that from a musical point. I don't mean that from, it's tough. And got in touch with Corey, and you know how I told you she could fill up this room with poems with melodies? We went through half of those. We went through almost all of them. And I weeded them down to the top 10. You know how difficult that is? Do you know how difficult it is to look at paper that was written in the 60s and the 70s? El papel todo amarillo, güey. And I'm like, okay, what's the melody of this? And recording the voice notes on my phone. And then having to go through them. Do your homework. And pick the best 10. To then pick the best 5. That process alone, we're not even in the studio yet. Mm-hmm. That process was crazy. Okay. And before I took on the project, I knew exactly what needed to be done, how it needed to be done, when it needed to be done, who was going to help us. This is gonna sound super Kanye West, but I'm a genius when it comes to this shit. I see it. I have a vision, Corey, and I know who to put in place to come help. So we go through the poems, top 10, narrow down to top 5. I bring them to Corey. There's references. Well, I'm in the middle of mixing this project, and I was telling Corey, I usually when I'm mixing the song, I can like, okay, it sounds like a Daddy Yankee, Bad Bunny song, like one of my records, and that's what we reference for the mixing. I can't reference any song. I gotta reference like 10 songs to mix the one song for her, because we grab merengue, salsa, cumbia, R&B, pop, piano. Corey, a fucking genius too. EDM electronic. He's a genius. And he won't say it, but I'll say it for him. Because we went and we took on that project, and all we had was a voice note of my mom singing, and she's not a singer, respectfully. And we had to figure out the tempo. We had no tempos. It's not like it had tempo. It wasn't like the shit you just played us. It had us a tempo. It's a rock and roll. We didn't know it could have been. We didn't know what genre. We don't know the tempo. We don't know the key. We have a poem, but they're not lyrics. All we know is we have this melody and this kind of lyrics. I still can't believe we did that shit, dude. And me and Corey took on the challenge. We did the thing. Went through the process of me and him coming up with the instrumentals. Thanks to him. He's producing them. I'm kind of co-producing the instrumentals. They're behind him, executive producing the instrumentals with him. Then I had to fly to Minneapolis, because she lives in Minneapolis, to go bring her the music. Like, I'd have like 2 songs done, like 2 instrumentals. I'd fly to Minneapolis, bring my U87, bring my MacBook, and bring my interface, and be like, okay, Mom, put on the headphones. We're gonna sit here, and I'm gonna record demo vocals to the instrumental, and your poems, we're gonna go from poems to lyrics. And man, I knew that was gonna be the toughest thing of the whole project, is that transition of making her poems into lyrics and me coming up with melodies on the spot, on the microphone, to her shit. And I flew to Minneapolis probably 5 times to just write the songs. And we were there. I was there about 4 days sometimes. She loves going to the casino. She loves going out here. We didn't do shit. We were there working. We would wake up, have breakfast, work on the project, go to sleep. Wake up, project, eat breakfast, whatever, go to sleep. We're at 2 years now. It's been 2 years. It's gonna be 2 years since we started on this project. And you're asking me, so I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you the whole shit. And finally at the mixing stage, I had to re-record all the vocals. I recorded final vocals in this room. This room is special, man. I recorded final vocals in this room.
With your mother?
No. Me solo, yo solo. After I recorded the demos, I flew to Minneapolis, came back, showed them to Corey. We did more post-production stuff. It was good enough for me to, my mom was cool with the lyrics. It was good enough for me to come and record final vocals. I brought my distressor, Great River EQ, got the whole shit, U87, record the vocals how I record my records. No shortcuts. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. It's my mother, man. I do this with every artist anyway, so it's nothing new to me. But since it's my mother, it's like, I told her, we ain't cut no shortcuts. We're paying for studio sessions. We're paying for the producer. We're paying for mixing sessions. I'll help you. I'll help you do them. You just have to make sure you cover these things, and I'll help you do it. Got final vocals done. Brought it again to Corey. Are we cool with this to go into mixing? Show them to my mom's. A couple changes. Boom, boom, boom. And I've been in mixing for a month now. We're in October of 2024. I've been mixing for a month now. I'm on song number 2, and I got to record. It's 5 songs. I've got to mix and master the rest of it. And Corey's gonna help with the mixing and mastering as well. He's involved with that. And so that's the journey. So that's the journey of that project. But more importantly, Tony, you have no idea. You have no idea how that feels. I've won 2 championships in my life. I've won when I was 13 years of age. I used to play soccer. I was actually pretty good. Like I told you, I would have been playing professional soccer or aspiring to play professional soccer if I wasn't producing music. When I was 13 years of age, we won the state championship. That was my first time ever winning anything. And I was the captain too. What a feeling, man, of winning. Not like I'm winning games. You win a championship, bro. What a feeling. In 2017, years later, that was like 2006 something. 2017, there was this competition here that they have. I don't know if they still have it. It's all over the country. It's called Coast to Coast Live, where a bunch of rappers, a bunch of R&B, hip hoppers, Latino rappers, reggaeton, doesn't matter. You go and you perform your best song against 60 other artists, and they all perform that same night in front of judges who are DJs for big radio stations and record executives for big labels like Sony and fucking RCA, whatever. And they're judging you. And whoever wins the competition gets flown to Miami to perform in front of all the winners from every other state. I won in 2017 against 60 other fucking artists here in LA. And that was like a championship to me, man. And I'm saying all that to say that doing this album for my mother with the help of Corey, knowing where she comes from, knowing her deep, deep love for music. She used to make us sing the songs back when we were kids. This is a dream, literally a dream come true for her. For me to have a part in that, that's a championship won, brother. And the day, Corey, that we turn in those mix and masters will be when I receive my medal. Not a physical one, but in my mind and in my heart, bro. 100%. And you were a part of that. That's a championship won. That's how impactful and how meaningful this thing is to us, to my mother. The one person, man, that's been in my corner this whole time. She was just with me at Paisley Park. We had the most amazing weekend. And like I started this podcast, I hope someday, you guys or anybody watching, I hope you guys reach a level with your parents where you can have a mature, insightful, sincere, educational, unfiltered conversation with your parents, man. And man, that took a long time for us. Mucho tiempo. A lot of maturing to do between my mom, on her side and on mine. It was not easy. Man. And to have played a part in her dream, it's an unbelievable experience, Tony. And it's been challengeful. That project was challengeful. The hardest project I've had to work on because of all these different aspects I'm telling you. That's not usually how we approach music. You know, usually the beat is done, you bring the, it's a whole different game. You know, you're literally starting from scratch. And I'm in the middle of mixing right now, the album, but it's done. I mean, it's done, it's finalized, it's approved. We just got to mix it and master it. And,
it's 5 songs.
It's 5 songs, and completely original, produced by Corey. I executive produced the album. My mom wrote it. I'm performing on the album, of course, right? I'm the one singing and whatnot. But I was telling my mother, and I'll finish with this. I was telling my mother when we were in Minneapolis, this is probably the coolest part of the whole trip I just had. Paisley Park was one of them. But the other coolest part of my trip, Minnesota is beautiful in the fall, Tony. Hermoso. Los árboles están rojos, amarillos. The leaves on the ground, the lake. We were driving through Minnetonka, Minnesota. Big ass houses with big ass yards. You got golden retrievers playing with their owners, just like how you picture in a movie. Like picture that shit.
Let me ask you something real quick.
Like that, bro.
Because you posted that story on your Instagram, right? And let me ask you, did you have a filter, or is that how bright and vibrant the fucking leaves?
No, I had a filter on it, but it was very low. It was very low on the opacity of it. That's how bright the shit is over there. It is surreal. Beautiful. I put a filter, but it's not like at 100%. We were driving at one point, and she's like, I'm going to play the final demos. And the final demos really sound like the final record, because that's how Ragata music works. That's how Corey works. So imagine the mix and masters. She's like, let me play the final demos. We wanted to take a drive.
Most recent time, right?
Yeah, when I was just there. This is just last weekend, 5 days ago. The sun is coming down, golden hour. The trees, the golden retrievers, the houses, the lake. And she's blasting the shit out of the album. And she's crying out of joy. I'm telling you, I don't know if you've ever seen anybody cry of joy. I never have until 5 days ago, fam. And I'm sitting there jamming too, and I'm looking over and I'm like, yo, I'm about to get emotional. And I didn't share a tear, but I was getting watery eyes, and she's singing the songs, and it's this moment of joy that I can't even put into words, bro. And knowing that I had a part in that feeling that she's feeling. I was able to do that for someone in general. That's amazing. For your own moms? And then knowing the history of where she comes from with those poems, Juan Gabriel in the fucking 60s, and her come up sleep like born on a bed. Yo, man. That was, if there ever is a movie made about my life, that scene that I'm telling you right now is in the fucking movie. That scene is in there's gonna be someone playing me in the passenger seat, someone playing my mom, her crying out of joy, singing the song, blasting the shit out of his fucking music that he made. If I ever have a movie made about me, that scene would be in the movie. That's how impactful that moment was, Corey. And I told her, I want you to know something, because she's always giving me credit, like, oh, you and Corey this, Corey that, Jairo YouTube him. And I'm like, I gotta stop you right now. While we were driving, turn the music down a little bit. I'm like, I want you to know something. I want you to know that me and Corey, and I speak for Corey, we take no credit in this. This is all you. Really, your energy, your soul, your lyrics. Yeah, I'm the one singing and performing. Yes, those are melodies that I came up with, but that was because of your melodies. Everything you're hearing is all you, and it's true. That's her. We were just the vessel. We're just happy to be here. I'm happy I can sing the songs for you. I'm happy that Corey can help out. And yes, Corey and I helped out. You know, we know music, but the truth is the truth. And I told her this. You take full credit for this. Be proud. This is you. This is your moment. This is your project. Almost like me and Corey had nothing to do with it. We're just, not that we're not proud of it, but you get what I mean, from the sense of you need to take credit for this. And she started fucking bawling, bro.
It's her story. It's not our story.
It's not our story. And that story doesn't actually mean just the lyrics. The melodies, those are hers, even though we came up with them. No, that's because of her. That's her energy. That's her story. I told her, please, you're going to give us credit, and that's cool. Like, she's always going to be thankful because that's who she is, and I get it from her. But, I told her, do not get it twisted. Esta es tu vibra. This is you. Esto es tuyo. You came up with this. You did this. You put this out in the universe, even though it took 50 fucking years. Can you believe that? We had a hand in someone who has had a dream for 50 years. An unbelievable story. If I ever have a movie made about me, this shit would be in there, man. And thank you for asking. I know we were off camera. I typically wouldn't talk about this. I wouldn't bring it out just in an interview or just anyone, because it's so, as you can tell, it's so close to who I am and where we're from. There's no way I talk about this, but I'm talking about it with you on your podcast because it feels right. Corey's here. What an unbelievable joy. What an unbelievable experience.
I'm touched. I'm really, truly touched, man. Cheers to that, man. Cheers to your mother. What's the name of your mother, man?
Guadalupe Campos. They call her Lupita.
Guadalupe Campos. Son unas...
Lupita.
Lupita. Man. Wow.
Que Dios la bendiga.
Que Dios la bendiga. Salud to her, man. I'm truly touched, and moving forward and into my purpose, this is what I want to bring out. Getting deep in. I know Jairo has been a magnificent fucking person, bro. I know Jairo has been a great dude, but I wanted to dive deep. I want to scavenge, and this is what I needed. This is what I wanted the people to see, who Jairo is. This is what I want to bring out in my guests moving forward, brother. Because it's touched me. I'm telling you, there's something in myself that I see in you, and this is what it was. The humbleness in you. The looking out for your mother, the wanting to make your mother's dreams a reality. That's what I crave myself with my mother. I want to be there for her. I want to acknowledge her, put her up on the pedestal. This is you, mother. I do this because of you. That's what we share in common, brother. Because of our mothers, men that didn't really have a father. Yes, I had my father in my life, but I was raised by my mother. Anything that I've learned, majority of 98% of it has been through my mother. I am the man that I am today because of my mother, bro. That is a powerful, touching story, and anybody that has followed along this far, man, I know they'll be as touched as I was, and me, because I can relate to you, man, in many aspects, in many ways, and especially being men of single mothers. But wow, I'm gonna tell you this, and I had a vision. You know, I was telling you, like, brother, I hope you find whether it's a movie of you or it's a music video on that album, brother. I would love to either partake in that or simply just be on the sidelines observing and watching this get put together, man. Because you know I'm someone that likes putting stories together. I'm a director, I'm a writer, brother, you know? And that's something that I can resonate with, and it was so touching, man.
Bet, say less.
So
thank you.
My brother, thank you for sharing. But not just me, but with the people.
Yeah, like I said, it's something normally I wouldn't share, but it feels right. It feels right. And I'm so happy, bro, that you connect to it. Because that's the truth. Esa es la verdad. And I'm happy that you connect. And I feel like if you connect, a lot of people will connect with that.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy that it can happen through your platform, man.
Everything is aligned. Everything happens for a reason. Everything. I believe it. You know, whether it's us together, brought together in life for a reason, you know, everyone does not either teach you a lesson to grow with or something.
Absolutely.
But man, touching.
I always tell people, just to go off of what you just said right now, destiny. My mother and I, no pun intended, my mother and I, again, we have many conversations of many things. And one of the things we always talk about is destiny. Ya está escrito.
Ya
está escrito. And it couldn't be more true at this point in my life at 33. And the experiences, everything I'm telling you on this podcast, everything I'm telling you on this episode, everything that I've been sharing to this point keeps proving to me that what is destined for you is done. You just have to continue to trust yourself, believe in that vision. If it keeps bothering you at night, if you keep thinking about it, and when you go to sleep, when you wake up, when you eat, when you take a shit, when you take a piss, when you're talking to people, if it's right here and it's in here and it doesn't leave you alone, like my mom's songs / poems, it took 55 years to make that shit happen. You need to keep believing, because destiny is already written out, bro. And my mother and I are strong believers, religious about that concept. It doesn't even matter what other people think. You could have your opinion, we respect it. It's just our opinion. It's not even an opinion. It's how we live life. And I truly do believe what you said. I'm going off what you said. It's meant to happen. Things happen in your life when they're supposed to happen. And it sounds so fucking cheesy, but it's so true. But things happen when they're supposed to happen, with who they're supposed to happen. And when people leave out of your life and are no longer there, it's because they're not supposed to be there at that level with you. Be thankful for when they were. Do not harm yourself. Do not stress yourself. Do not be mad at yourself because certain people are no longer in your life. It's a sign that you're on the right path. If you still feel like you're being a good person and you're pursuing the right thing, then it's okay if you're alone. It's okay if it's just one or two people, but as long as it's the right people, and you'll know when it's the right people. Ya está escrito. My mother and I are huge believers that it's already written out. You just have to continue to believe in yourself. That's why sometimes when I'm having a tough day in this very tough business, and all the odds are stacked against me, all of them, including to you, anybody, Corey, anybody who's watching, if you're a creative and you're inside the music business and you want to get your name known, all the odds are stacked against you, all of them. You know what it's like? This is what I mean about destiny. Do you know what it's like to every day know that the truth is that this is difficult? All the odds are stacked against you. Money, relationships, you'll invest everything, every penny. You'll sacrifice relationships. You'll sacrifice your mental health. You can do everything. And there is a very big possibility you'll never get what you were looking for. Your calculated risk may never happen. And you're investing everything, sacrificing almost everyone. You know what it's like to wake up every day knowing that reality I just painted, and wake up with Great attitude. Let's go get it. We're going to get it right this time. We're going to make the Jordan album. We're going to make this happen. We're going to make the greatest album. We're going to make the greatest music video. I'm about to show up to these rehearsals. I'm about to show up to the show, and I'm going to kill this show. I'm going to shake everybody's hand. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to thank God first. I'm going to thank myself. I'm going to thank the people who helped me. I'm going to continue with a great attitude. Do you know what that's like? Yo, that's a real warrior. That's a real soldier. To know in one hand the reality I just told you, all the odds stacked against you, and to still wake up every day like that's not even true. Wake up like with the greatest attitude, humble, trabajador. Shout out to all the people who are pursuing their dream. Shout out to all the people who are pursuing their dreams. They're real warriors, man. They're real warriors, man. You're one of them, cut.
Hey, I know this.
You're one of them.
Hey, but it's like...
And if you've learned anything today, I don't know if there is anything that you've learned, but if there's anything that you've learned today, or your listeners or your viewers, whoever's watching this, do not give up. If it's messing with you here and in here, and it just doesn't let you go, even through your toughest times, that's a sign. You should keep going, and it's gonna get tough. Truckloads of toughness. People, money. But I've always told people, that's real love. Real love is not when things are going right. Everybody can be cool when you got money, you got girls.
Right.
People like you, people talk good about you. What about when people are not talking good about you? What about when the odds are stacked against you? What about when you don't got no money? What about when you've invested everything? Are you going to stick to your dream? Because if you do, Corey, if you do, that means you in love. You really in love with whatever that thing is. And that goes for personal relationships too. And if you decide to drop out of the race, then you know what? It was your destiny. This is where you made it. It's okay. Get off the train. To get off the train, it's cool. You really just weren't in love with that woman like that. But I am. So I'm going to go get her. Woman as in music, an analogy.
Of course, yeah.
So if you get anything from today, Tony, is to never give up. If it bothers you in your heart and your mind, meaning bothering you as in it's always in you, whatever that thing is, don't stop. And it's gonna get tough. But that's when the test is. That's when you prove to yourself and the destiny that you have in God and the universe that I'm really in love with this shit.
Get ready for war. It's people like you, like me, my mentor. We're all in the same group, brother. Because we're going to war. People are not going to like us. People are going to think we're weird. We're out of the ordinary. And you know why? Because we don't fit in, man. We're our own crowd, bro. We're our own species. You know, our own breed. And because we don't fit in, we're seen as weird. Because we don't try to satisfy others. You know, we create our own trends. We go and create our own lane. Go against the current, against the crowd. A very beautiful scene that I seen in Quiet Place, Day One.
I love those movies.
I just watched Day One yesterday. There's a scene where that black woman that has cancer, you know, if you watch this without spoiling the movie, there's a point where, you know, these monsters, Quiet Place, they're out and about, but now it's taking place in New York. I'm telling everyone, hey, come out, just be quiet, meeting for evac, etc., etc. They all storm out like fucking cockroaches. But the one lady that has cancer, she goes the opposite way. And we're like, what the? And then I was like, I'm looking at the TV like, whoa, like there's symbolism right there. No, if something's not right, go against the current. No matter if the whole fucking world is going one way, if you're being called to something else, go listen to that. Don't follow the motherfucking crowd, man. And that spoke to me, and I was like, wow, I'm that lady. You're that lady. There's a lot of us out here. And we're gonna get critiqued. We're gonna be talked shit to, talked about. But as long as we keep going against the current, I personally believe. And most importantly, that project with your mother, I wanted to say this before I forget. That motherfucker's gonna take off. You know why? It's made with love. Love is the most powerful weapon ever, brother. And I realize that, brother, I'm made out of love, man. My superpower is love.
That's crazy.
And yeah, brother, I know you're gonna be amazing. I'm gonna be right here alongside with you if I'm still alive, God forbid, you know. I mean, of course we're gonna see each other grow in this beautiful journey, brother. But yeah, man, that's all I wanted to say, man.
Yeah, love it.
Keep doing what you're doing, man, because you're on a beautiful journey.
Thanks for sharing, man. Thanks for having me on, and then again, just believe in yourself, and thanks for being yourself, man. And since I met you, I've told you, you stay pretty authentic to who you are, man. And you know, just how you are, who you are, man. And you know, that's part of the reason why we're still working together, you know. And there's always room for improvement.
Absolutely.
And yeah, man. Thank you, man. Thank you.
There's this thing that you always say.
Yeah. I think I know what it is.
You know what it is.
What is it? I say many things.
Do the thing. Do the thing. That's something that I hear you say all the time, and I think it's very powerful for the people that don't know what the thing is and where it could take them in life. And it's obviously you live by that, doing the thing. As far as his professionalism, being coordinated, being on top of shit, over communicating, very professional, just being a team player, humble, selfless, courageous, yet still authentic, of course, as always. And what I like about humble is a great word I could add to you, but still being hungry, what I love about it. You have that balance that I have within myself as well. Know your potential, you know, but at the same time, not caring too much what people think, but at the same time caring enough. And I love that. That's why we connect, brother. But I want you to go ahead and explain what the thing is that you always saying do the thing. Just do the thing, do the thing, do the thing. You're always saying do the thing. So please explain to the viewers here, people that don't know what the thing is.
Sure. The thing is very simple in my eyes. Okay. But the thing is like the moon. The thing is like the universe. And I mean quite literally. What do I mean by that? The thing is very simple, just like the moon. But there's a lot of complexity behind that. Which is the reason why most people don't do the thing. The moon in the universe is beautiful. Wow, look at the sun. Wow, look at that star. Wow, look at the moon. And it looks so simple. It looks, the moon makes it look so easy. Just floating. But there's a lot going on behind it of why that moon is even there, the way that it is, and the way that we perceive it, and a lot going on. But yet it's so, we don't even understand our brains. How can we even understand the universe? That's how the thing is. It's simple, but it's complex, which is the reason why most people don't do the thing. And to just be super, like, not technical, but like actual about it, is if you're in music, in anything, but let's just talk about music. If you're in music, clearly in this conversation, there's a lot of aspects to it, depending on what you do. But one thing that's universal to everybody is execution. It's preparation. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor or in the medical field, or if you're in a law firm, or you're in the music business as an artist. If you're reaching for greatness, which I don't think most people are, but if you are reaching for a higher self, doing the thing is so beneficial. It's so requiring of you. And it's universal across all people in all kinds of industries. Preparation and execution. A lot of people that are in music, again, bringing it to music, a lot of people that are in music, a lot of people who are in the entertainment business like to talk about things. I work with so-and-so. I got credits with so-and-so. I've worked with so-and-so. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start my podcast. I'm gonna have a hit song. I'm gonna get my music on the radio. I'm gonna work with that artist. Shut the fuck up.
Just do it.
Shut up, man. And they never do anything about it. Isn't that ironic? And a lot of the people who are calladitos, un poco más calmados, I'm not one of them. I'm a little different. I'm vocal and I do the thing. But most people, I think, a lot of people are also quiet. Es por eso que en español siempre decimos calladito pero bien cabrón. Calladito pero bien cabrón. Because a lot of people who are a little bit more humble about it. I think about Pharrell Williams. So talented. Incredibly talented. Has accomplished more than I'll ever accomplish in my career. Yet you see an interview of him, gives credit to God, give credit to the producers. I'm just a vessel. Wow. And yet you got motherfuckers who are here in LA trying to be in music, trying to be a producer, trying to be an artist, whatever they're trying to do. They haven't done shit in their life. They're not doing shit right now. Not even the simplest of things, like showing up at the studio session on time. Like saying you're going to go to the show and you actually show up. Like promoting your shit on social media. The simplest shit. And you're out here. Like, you cool? Get the fuck out of here, man. It's disrespectful to people like me. It's disrespectful to artists to me, at least from my point of view. Mm-hmm. And whatever floats your boat. But I'm just being honest. Mm-hmm. I'm just being honest. And I respect people's opinions that they don't just, like, it's cool. If you're not reaching for greatness, that's cool. If you just want to be cool, get bitches, that's cool with this music thing. If you just want to try to get money, which you shouldn't be doing it for the money because that's never going to be a thing. You should be doing it for the love. But that's cool. Whatever floats your boat, bro. Whatever floats your boat. You ain't going to catch me around them people. Nunca. Which is why you see very, very few people on Rakata music. And I'm cool with that, fam. I'm cool with that. I know that if I continue to fulfill my destiny, the prophecy, the right people will come along. And when it's not their time to no longer be around, then I trust God and God only, bro. Solo Dios sabe por qué. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I'm not trying to harm anyone. I'm actually doing the complete opposite. By having my podcast, by being a man of my word, by being honest with people, by saying I'm going to do something and I do it, put my money where my mouth is, making music at that moment in time as best as I can make it and as true as I can make it. Am I always evolving? Yes. Am I always getting better? Yes. But in that moment in time, I'm doing the best I can. I'm not trying to hurt nobody. You feel me? But don't get it twisted. I'm out here doing the thing. And if that means that people ain't gonna be around, then I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? So doing the thing is preparation, execution, to answer your question, but I'm answering in full. I'm answering in full what I mean by the thing. And believe it or not, whether you think this is dramatic or not, this is exactly what I mean when I say the thing. And when we're in conversation and I say, hey, time to do the thing, it's in a joking way, right? But do you see how much weight that has actually? I say it in a joking way because you're gonna be this dramatic with people all the time, but you're just at a show. Like, no, I know how to talk to people. But if you're asking me to explain to you what the thing is to me, that's what the thing is. Preparation, communication, execution, greatness. Do the thing. Don't say you're going to do something and don't do it. You know what I mean? And I also just want to say, like, I don't judge the people who say they do something and then they don't, or they're not doing the thing the way they should maybe doing it, whatever that is. I don't judge. By the way, I don't judge none of them. ¿Sabes por qué? Because this is tough, man. I more than anyone know this shit is tough. You think it's easy keeping your word? Hell no. You think it's easy preparing for a show, for a podcast, for anything? Hell no. So why would I judge you? I know exactly why you're not doing it, why you're not doing the thing. Yo te entiendo. It's tough. So even though I'm being super real what the thing means, I don't judge them. I know that sounds contradiction, but it's not. I'm giving you both sides. What the thing is, in my opinion. But I also know the people that don't do the thing for whatever that thing may be for them, I also know that it's tough. So I don't judge you. I don't judge you, man. But I pay my respects to people who say they do something and then they do it. People who believe in themselves. People who want to strive to be better. It's funny, some people ask me all the time, what you up to then, man? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Why are you doing so much? I'm trying to come up. You think I'm trying to stay in these circumstances? And I'm grateful for my life and who I'm with and who I'm doing it with and what I'm doing. There's always more. When I walked into Paisley Park in Chanhassen, Minnesota, I've always wanted to have Rakata Studios, and I talk about it with anyone who knows me all the time. I've talked about it with you before, Corey, you too. When I walked in there and I touched those walls, bro, I said, oh shit, I can do this. This can be me. Only way I'm gonna get there is by doing the thing. Preparation, execution, communication, keep my word. To me, I hold myself to that level. I understand that's a very, very high thing to ask for people, for them to ask for themselves. I get it. But that's why I'm different. But that's why I'm different than you. And I mean that with all due respect. And there's not even no competition. The thing about destiny and doing your thing, the thing or your thing, is that there's no competition in this. I'm not competing against you. I'm not competing against Daddy Yankee. I'm not competing against whoever so here locally in LA. Get the fuck out of here, man. What do you think? I'm that small-minded? Come on. The competition is against me, the man in the mirror, bro. That's who the real competition is. And doing the thing, doing your thing, that's your competition. All those things that the thing means to me, that is your actual competition. It's not me. It's not you or anybody else or whoever's got number one on the billboard. Hell no. Get the fuck out of here, man. It's yourself. And to me, that's the thing. Prepare, execute. And in all of this, I know it sounds really hard, Tony, to sound humble when I'm talking about these things with this level of passion. But I'm only being me, man. I got Michelangelo the creation of Adam, on the back of my neck, which represents, to me, the reason I got it, it represents humbleness. Because if the tattoo represents God-given life to Adam, I'm not trying to be religious. I'm not even that religious, but the message means a lot to me. If God has given me life, if the universe gave me life, and I'm borrowing this life, it's not even mine. I can't even walk around like I'm the shit. This life ain't even mine. Be humble. Humble yourself, man. Don't walk around like you the big shit. This life is a gift. Don't misuse it. Al revés. Help people, man. Help your community. I hope to God someday I can give back to Albert Lee, Minnesota, where I grew up. I hope to God someday I can give back to all the mentors that I've had in Minneapolis. St. Paul Peterson, Snowman, JD, Krinsky, all of them. All my business partners, I hope someday I can give them back. All of them. My mother, you know? Doing the thing means all those things to me. And as you can tell, there's a lot of weight to it. It's not just a joking thing that I say. I present it in a joking way because it's fun, and how you're not going to talk like this to people all the time. So to answer your question in full, y de verdad, en full, that's what the thing is to me.
If you could give it to me in short, brother, let me know what your gifts, talents are, and lastly, end it with, what is your purpose?
Gifts and talents? I just care a lot. That's my talent. I just care a lot. I care a lot about people. I care a lot about myself, which I've had to learn over the years to care more about myself, actually. I care a lot, man. That's my talent. That's my talent. My gift is bringing people together, man. I've always, since I was in like 6th grade, my mom would let me throw these little parties. And I'd tell everybody, come to my party. And I'd bring people together. And I'd play music, and we'd order pizza, and like 40 kids would show up. We'd have fun, play Nintendo 64. Till this day, whether it's for the podcast, whether it's for a collaboration, whether it's for a music video or a show. Hey, boom, boom, hey, ven pa' acá, vamos. My gift is bringing people together, man. I don't know where that comes from. Maybe my mom's. She's a very charismatic woman. That's my gift. What I think my purpose is? I think in conclusion, I like to think, I don't know. I mean, really, right? Like, I'm 33. I'm not sure. Like, I can't give you an exact answer. What I feel my purpose is, that's what I can tell you. I feel my purpose is to inspire others, man. To teach others, to inspire others. All the people, and more that I haven't mentioned, that I've mentioned on this episode, I want to make them proud, man. even the people that are no longer in my life, to think that there's a possibility that I can make them proud on a big scale. What an unbelievable idea. That's my purpose. And I hope that they get inspired. I hope that the kids the people I went to high school with, college with, my mentors, you, everybody who I work with, man. I'm not only doing this for me. That's crazy. Like, if I was only doing this for me, I'd have been a lawyer and get rich and date women. Cool, drive a Ferrari. Nah, man. I'm in music because I feel like music is my vehicle to bring purpose to my life and, in conclusion, inspire others. You rarely get to see this, and this is me with anyone. No offense. I'm to be someone else when I'm someone else. No, I'm me with everyone, with you, with him, anyone. And I think that you're surprised by it because you don't really see this side. And part of it is because no one ever asked me to come on anything, at least lately. And I put out records, man, and I stay active on social media. You would think, yo, man, why don't you come on? Not yet. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying I'm surprised by it. And I think by people not reaching out, otherwise you wouldn't be surprised by it because you'd see it all the time. You'd think I'd be posting this shit? I want people to hear. I want people to connect with this because I know people connect to my story. So that really stuck with me throughout our conversation. And not in a bad way, in a good way. And it just made me think what I'm saying. You know, it's like, oh, man, people need to see more of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
People need to hear more of this story. And I feel like they will connect. Which is why I started my podcast too. Because we get to have these combos outside of the music. Sorry.
But as a host, me, myself, like, you got to throw in here and there. Unless you're having like a full... Me, personally, I do it to bring out the light. What do you bring to the people? Yeah. That's how I see it. Yeah, you know, we have go back and forth here and there, but it's mainly personally about my guests.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't just ask any other, you know, some random questions, you know. I ask shit that's about you, for the viewer to connect with, to know more about my guests, etc., right? That's how I see it. But we're going to end it and wrap it up with this. Okay?
Yeah, brother.
You ready?
I apologize for talking too much.
No, maybe, my brother. If there's anything that you... Hold on, let me say this. Is there anything that you would like to share with the people? And this is not just your people, my followers, your followers. This is the world. Where you're going in life, where I'm going in life, this is something people are going to go back to, whether it's a year, 2, 3, 10, whatever the case may be, decades from now, whatever.
Yeah.
People are going to come back to this and see this.
You think so?
I know so.
I hope so.
I know so.
There's nothing, man. I've said it all.
You said
I've left it all on the court.
One last message for anyone, whether it's someone that's watching back at 2024 Jairo.
Yeah.
And maybe there might be a little young one out there.
Yeah. I mean, when you put it that way. You know, I mean, it sounds super cliche and I hate saying it, man.
And I want you to speak to him or her.
To him or her? He's asking me about some advice I give someone or looking back or...
If I were to think of it, I guess I'm asking it like think of yourself in the future where you see yourself being, but we could only imagine so far because we don't even know where life is taking us.
Yeah.
Our purpose might switch and we might go chase a different career. We just never know.
Yeah.
Life is unexpected, brother. And I just want you maybe speak to yourself, but at the same time speak to someone that is your fan. Vision yourself to where you want to be in life and you see yourself accomplish everything and your fan and is looking up at Jairo for advice.
Yeah. I would say enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. If there's one thing that life has taught me is that time moves very, very fast. And it's only getting faster. I don't know how that works, but it's true. Enjoy. If you enjoy being passionate, talking about your business, do it. I mean, I hope they're good things you enjoy. I mean, I hope you're not killing people. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Like, I'm talking about good things. Enjoy your time, man. Enjoy time with your family. If you got a girlfriend, a boyfriend, enjoy. If your mom is still alive or your parent, enjoy. Because the end is coming. So enjoy your time. Enjoy your time. Enjoy your time. And the last thing that I would say is when things are going well in your life, this is gonna sound really dark, but when things are going well in your life, know that the devil's watching. And I mean that in a metaphorically way. Not literally, he's not literally watching. Just the energy of evil and the devil is watching. I'm gonna repeat that again. When things are going well in your life, don't be so peachy. Enjoy. Everything, if I know something is that life is about balance, know that the devil's watching. Because when you're doing your thing, when you're doing the thing, and you're doing it right, and you're executing it right, and you're with people you love, and you're helping people, the devil hates that. And he will come for you if you don't maintain yourself in an even scale. But on the other hand, just know, and I'm not trying to be religious, I'm just talking about energy. Energy is what I mean. I'm just using these words as a metaphor. But also know that God is watching. When things are tough, God is watching. And it's really ironic because God, you would think, would hand you shit on a platter. Here you go. You don't have to work for it. Here. That's the devil. God makes you work for it. Work up to the blessing. So to wrap up what I'm saying, when things are going well, just know that he's watching. Know the devil's watching. So enjoy, but be cool. When things are bad, know that God is watching too. So be cool. It will pass. It always does. It always does.
Thank you, my brother Jairo.
Yeah.
Man, you guys heard it here first. We're going to wrap up here with my brother Jairo. It was a magnificent, great conversation with my brother Jairo, man.
Holy shit.
Man, this is what I was looking for.
You need 5 batteries for my ass. We have to change batteries like 8 times.
But the last cheers to my brother here. And
thank you, Corey.
Hey, thank you, Corey. He's been an amazing assistant back there with the music, with the cameras, with the lighting, with everything, man. Thank you, Corey, so much. Shout out to Sounds by Corey behind the camera over there. Why don't you get in here real quick, my brother?
Hey, get in here real quick,
cuz. So they know who Sounds by Corey is. Hey, look at this guy.
Like Corey.
Sounds like Corey.
Sounds like Corey. Look at this boy with a chain on. He leaning like, yo, you know who it is.
It's the boy Corey right here, man. And if you guys ever need a producer, engineer, whatever the fucking case may be, and you're an artist here in the city of Los Angeles or just LA County, period, check out my boy at
Sounds Like Corey.
Sounds Like Motherfucking Corey. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up here with your boy Tony el Motherfucking Tigre, your boy Jairo, Rakata Music,
Activados.
and Motherfucking Lobo, and your boy
Sounds Like Corey.
Sounds Like Motherfucking Corey, because it ain't a sound if it ain't by Corey. Alright, it's your boy once again. Alright, have a beautiful, blessed night, day, evening, whatever it may be. Motherfucking Tony el Tigre with Into the Jungle Podcast.
No quiero acostarme, no puedo dormir, no puedo acabar, no me puedo rendir.